Today we're going behind the scenes of PBR. Welcome everyone to Powered and Protected by Rainbows. I am of course your host Matt Haslam, and today we're going behind the scenes to show you how an episode is actually made. And the first step in the entire process is actually to script out the episode for what I'm going to say in the show. What it used to be is just basically I found a topic that I really liked. I maybe made a few notes on a notepad, and I ended up recording an episode for like 2 or 3 hours, and then I would have to come back into editing and edit all of that down into, a 10 to 15 minute episode, which is incredibly hard to do, especially when you're trying to make it like a coherent episode, and that way you guys can understand it, and especially when you're trying to get to a point where not just you're complaining about something, but you're offering maybe a solution at the end of the episode. All of that kind of factors into why I started scripting them out. It used to take a long time to edit all of the episodes, but now that I've started to script all of the episodes out, it takes a lot more time in pre-production before an episode is made. But once an episode is actually made, it's incredibly easy to edit nowadays, and all of that will be seen in our episode here today. But the first step is scripting it out, and basically you should know that I script out episodes all month long. I have tons and tons of scripts at the ready for me to use at any time in case I need just an extra one to fill in some time. But typically, like my news shows, I wait until the very end of the month to script those out to give it as much time as possible to let the news happen, and that way, you're not seeing an episode that's really far back in time, too much for the news show. But all of the episodes get scripted here in Microsoft Word. They're all here on screen. So, by the way, don't look at Troye Sivan or Beware of Dog Kisses, or my mess of cups, because I am a little mess in the office right now. But all of them get scripted right here. Powered by Rainbows, the season, the episode number, and what the title of the video will be, that gets chosen right away. The video description of what you're going to see in the description box of the video, and that way later on, after editing is completed, it's just a matter of copying and pasting that section into both Facebook and YouTube. So basically, by the time it gets to being uploaded to Facebook and YouTube, all the information is ready for me right there. If it's a news show, you're going to have all the news stories linked right here in this section already for me to copy and paste in. That way I don't have to worry about any of it. But as I'm going through a script down here, there are certain parts where it's pretty much the same for every episode. Like everyone has a little teaser before the intro sequence. Everyone starts off with "Welcome to Powered by Rainbows. I'm of course your host Matt Haslam, and today on the show, blank." This part starts to change down to wherever the end of that episode comes, which is way down here. Typically an episode is between 5 to 10 pages long. Depends on how intrusive we want to make the script. But then down here at the very bottom, it finally gets into that's our episode for today. If you have any comments or questions, please leave those in the comments down below. All of that is pretty much on every single episode in the same exact way. That way you're hearing the same intro and outro of every single video. You're not really surprised by it too much. But again, we want to remind people to like and subscribe to the network, and remind people this is not just a one episode thing. This is one episode of many. But all of this information in the middle here changes per episode of what we actually talk about. And so during the episode, as I'm going through scripting it out and I'm talking about a certain subject, there might be a time when I'm referencing back to another episode, and I'm like, hey, I'll leave a link in the description box to that video so you can check that information out, such as we did in this episode where we referenced the Pride how-to guide. So I want to make sure that's in the description box to the video. So having the description box information right here at the very top of my document really does help make sure that whatever links I talk about in the script are already in the description box. I don't have to worry about, making sure they're in later on. I just have to copy and paste this section. Plus all the copyright information is there as well. But all of that is done all beforehand. It's scripted out, so that way there are no I can read through it and I can go, this makes sense, this has a clear defining ending to it, of we get to a certain topic, we get to a certain point in our entire episode. So you're not just watching 15 minutes and there's no ending to it, really. But all of that's done in Microsoft Word. Then we take it over to my phone and put it into a program called Parrot Teleprompter app on my phone, and that allows me to as soon as it comes up here, sorry, it's really slow, I'm able to bring the scripts in and then copy and paste them into here, and then just click on it, and now I have that episode all ready to go in my phone, and that way I can just put it up behind my camera on set, like you're gonna see downstairs in just a moment, and my TV studio, and that way, I'm actually following a script. Because again, before, it used to just be a bunch of editing that ended up having to happen after the fact, and it sucked really, really bad. So we're gonna go down there and show you exactly how an episode is made, and then I'll come back up here and show you what happens after an episode is filmed. This is the set for PBR, as well as the set for VLAMP, which is our video lighting, audio, music, and photography how-to show on another channel we also run. It's our set for our Pride Stage music, which is an entire show dedicated to live music online. This is the set for all of that. So I'm gonna kind of jump around here. As you can see, we have like a whole bunch of set items, which include like my press passes over the years, rainbow flag, which I just got at a local Pride event, license plate with my name on it, a whole bunch of like newspaper articles and awards I've gotten over the years as a performer. This poster by one of my friends for his movie, Earthlink Origins, which was actually recorded here in the studio. Clapboard, which doesn't get used anymore, it's my old one. A poster for a musical from my old high school. This Pride in Your Vote thing, which I just also got at a local Pride. These kind of switch out. These two kind of switch out throughout the seasons and stuff like that. These come and go, and new stuff comes in. A film reel, because, I'm in the film industry. A painting my sister did for her old room, but then she graciously gave it to me for the set because I absolutely love her painting. So if you're watching, Amy, I love everything you do. Piano, which gets used for all of the music recording that we do for not just PBR, but everything we do. You might have just seen a music video for Puppeteer that just came out that was recorded on that piano. Over here is our main microphone, which gets used for our audio for the show. Cables run back to our mixer over here, which, by the way, they were free to us, and they were donated by Proco, which is a wonderful company that my company, Madhouse Productions, is a dealer for now. So we were like, yeah, let's use their cables and into the set, and let's take the sponsorship. Why not? Then we have the two Genere Spectro LED 360 daylight lights. They are 1 foot by 1 foot soft boxes, and they are hanging from super clamps up in the ceiling here. And a whole bunch of like wiring is up there as well, but that's what we use to light the entire set. You're gonna notice I have a fan. I'm so sorry, but it gets incredibly hot in here when the lights are on all day long for recording. A lot of people don't know this. We record like 10 episodes a day normally, so when I come down here by myself, by the way, it's like you're recording 10 episodes at a time sometimes, and between all of the different shows that come out of the studio, typically it's one full day of recording all of the episodes for the entire month, and then an entire day of editing. So everything has to be ready, but it does get incredibly hot with these lights on all day long. So definitely worthwhile of having a fan here. Plus, we can always say that we have at least one fan. We have a live studio audience, don't we? my chocolate milk that I have all the time, that I drink from during the show. It's an equality mug that is supporting the Human Rights Campaign, which was given to me this past Christmas by my ex-boyfriend's family. So then we have our beat camera back here. This is kind of like a side angle of me that you're going to see. And this, again, is a Canon T5i with an 18 to 55 millimeter lens on it. Nothing too special there, just a kit lens. But it's, just our beat camera. It's also the same camera that we use for our main camera over here, because we want the coloring to match between the two. But this one's a little more rigged out with a battery pack, so just in case the power goes out in this entire room, we have it on battery power through USB, and that way, hey, we don't all of a sudden lose all of our footage on our main camera. The B camera is powered directly by like an outlet, and if it loses power, it loses its power. We might lose a couple minutes of footage, but this one we cannot lose footage from, so we need it to be battery powered. Anyway, this is our main camera angle that you're going to see in the show. So it's kind of like just a direct on shot. This is the Canon T5i with a 17 to 55 millimeter f2.8 lens on it, so it can bring in a lot more light than the other lens will. Also on its rig, we have a couple handles, so we can move this entire rig all at once if we wanted. But our script goes on my iPhone 6 under the teleprompter app, and I just basically hit play, and it scrolls through, and it has all of my script information. Now that we're scripting all of our episodes out, it's a lot easier for me to go through and actually get the entire thing right. I'm going to take you around here and show you what it looks like to me doing an episode. So I sit here every day making these shows, and I look over in that direction, and I also have a mirror right there to show me what I look like on camera, so I can fix my hair really quick. There's always a hairbrush down here, so I can really quickly fix something if it's messed up and throw the hairbrush back down there. Then I read the script off of the teleprompter, and that on camera looks like I'm looking directly at the audience, but really I'm looking at the teleprompter. But there's been so many times when my hair is out of whack that I decided to add a music stand with a mirror on it. That way I can see what I look like, especially on some parts of the show where I do certain movements of my hands, or I make a funny face. I want to make sure that face looks good on camera still. And there's been so many times I go back to the editing bay and realize that really did not look that great, so I had to reshoot it. So I just prefer to have a mirror there to know automatically, like, that didn't look good to me. But then you're going to also notice another thing we have on set here is another music stand, or sorry, another microphone stand. Whew. Flip around here. This microphone stand, it's the second one on set, has this little microphone wireless mic clip on it, but really what we use it for is a focus point. So I'm able to, zoom in here and get my focus for that camera, and that way I know my face will be in focus. And then at the very last second before the show starts, I just move that mic stand out of the way, and I know I'm perfectly in focus. Then over here is our mixer that I use to do all of the shows here at MHP TV. We use a Zoom H4n audio recorder to get all of our audio captured. We recently got a donation from Chris Groznuski from Burning Earth Productions for a lapel microphone to go on my shirt, but I decided not to do that today for the recording because it takes a little bit to set up. But this is a Yamaha MG166 MG166C USB mixer. It's pre-programmed with the all the gains and levels for our Samson CO2 microphone here, Shure SM58 here. That way I just know if I plug something in, it's already set to the levels I need. And then I'm getting stereo out into the audio recorder, and that way, you know, I'm going into the editing bay with stereo audio instead of mono and having to change it. But that is the set for the show. This is where all of the episodes get made, and then I'm going to show you kind of where we edit all of the episodes at, and all of that goodness up in our editing bay. So after an episode is filmed, or all of the episodes that I'm filming that day, pretty much any day that I film, it's probably going to be at least 4 to 5 episodes for that entire day, and that way I'm getting as much out of the studio as possible at a time. But as soon as all of that is done, I take all of the wonderful, wonderful SD cards, bring them up here to the editing bay, plug them in, and start copying all of that footage into the system, which takes a long time. All of the different cameras, we have 3 cameras today and 1 audio recorder. All of it gets brought into the system here, into the RAID system. That way it's redundant array of independent drives, so it's all there and it's all copied at least twice. And once an episode is all brought in with the footage, we bring it into Pluralize, a program that really quickly synchronizes all of our footage that easy. Like I said, this is 4 episodes that I recorded today, and seriously, that's how quick it synchronized, just honestly that fast. So definitely a program worthwhile for us to invest in as a company. Once that's done, I export the timeline and bring it into my Premiere Pro. So then this is Premiere Pro, which is the newest version. I have Premiere Pro CC for our company, Madhausen Productions, and I brought in already all of the Pride footage from the actual Pride events. Here's our synced sequence which came from Pluralize, and that gets brought in here. We really quickly just fix that little part up with that 1 clip, and now I have, you know, all episodes right here. Here's our programs monitor of, like, basically that you're gonna see what goes out there. Wow, that's not a good shot of me, but that's camera 2, and then shortly that'll be camera 1 for how that shot looks. And basically I'll bring this into a multicam sequence, and you're gonna see all of that. But in our essential graphics panel up here is actually where I have all of the pre-programmed graphics for the show, whether it's a cutaway shot, our upper left definition, full screen quote for our news show, gay pride flag that comes in, our intro has 2 different parts, part A and part B. Our music is also brought in to another file. The upper graphic for our thumbnails, our like, comment, and share graphic, our lower third from the host or whoever's on the show that day. We have a numbered list graphic for just like if we have a list of 10 different items that you should buy or whatever. Our little ad for our PBR shirts, source credit, so I can give credit where it's due to different sources that I have for the show, our thumbnail main titles, and some change also titles for that. But all of the episodes are now in here. It's overall an hour and 15 minutes of footage for 4 episodes that came in, and you're going to see basically these 4 episodes coming up in the next 4 weeks here on the show. But again, it's all over here in our project timeline. Here's our source monitor and our audio mixer that I get to use with this Behringer X Touch Compact, and I actually get to mix live for the show, so you get to hear it pretty well, and I get to edit all of this down now really quickly. Before, this used to be an hour and 15 minutes of footage, if not 2 hours for 1 episode. Now that I script out episodes in advance, it's a lot less footage. So now there's 4 episodes in the same span, and then I get to edit all of it down. And once it's all edited down here, it all goes to one final pre-press review once it's exported, and I get to look at every single episode back once, and that way I can, yeah, I know it looks good before you guys see it, and I can kind of take out any graphics that didn't really work for us or whatever. Sometimes graphics are buggy and they don't work, so I have to go back in and fix it. But overall, this is how all of the episodes are edited in Premiere. Because I have all of the essential graphics made up beforehand, so it's all drag and drop. I can just open a new project at any time I need, and I know that those graphics will be the same for every episode this season. Every season I typically try to change up the graphics, but for the most part, you're seeing the same exact stuff every episode. That way, the branding is the same throughout all of the episodes, so you're not really surprised if you watch more than one episode. Oh, where's that source text going to be? It's going to be in the lower left. All that kind of information is stuff of why I made all of the essential graphics in the beginning of the season, so that all of it is the same throughout the whole show. Before, really what it takes to make an episode of PBR, before it used to take like 5 minutes to come up with an idea, and I write them in my phone at work or at different events I do. I work, I write them at dinner or whatever. I used to just write them down and have an idea wherever and whenever I had an idea. I just wrote it down in my notes, my phone, and then I would sit in front of a camera for 2 hours and record that idea, and I'd come back up here, and it would take probably about 4 hours to go through all that footage and make a coherent show out of it for you guys to watch. But nowadays that I'm scripting everything out, I'm typically like working on scripts during like lunch periods, or like before or after work, or if I have an idea at work, I'm just writing that note down really quick of like, here's my idea, and then after I get home from work, I'll sit here at my editing studio and write that entire script out from beginning to end, make it all coherent, read through it once before it goes into the file for what gets sent down to the studio, and then I'll pick out once a month what episodes I'm going to do that month. Typically for to script out an episode, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes, but for our monthly news show, that takes generally about 2 to 3 hours to script out that one episode, because it's more intrusive of like definitely having to get all of the facts right for a specific news story, having to source many different articles on every news story, and making sure all of those are sourced in the description box of the video, so that way you guys can find the information that we found, if not more. All of that is a long process, but it's definitely worthwhile doing all that in the scripting process. Again, filming, I typically record at least 3 to 4 episodes at a time, sometimes even 10 episodes a day of our shows for all of the channels that I do, and that way I'm making the most of my time in the studio, and then once all of that's done, an episode comes up here. I'm really, in production wise, a 15-minute episode will maybe take 16 to 17 minutes in the actual studio recording it. Then once I get it up here in editing, it probably takes maybe 20 minutes to edit that episode from all of the footage for that. For our news show, again, it's probably more for the news show and editing because of all the graphics that are needed. Whenever I come up with like a story that requires, like if I talk about a certain person, I need to bring a picture of them on screen so you know who I'm talking about. Even things like Elton John and Vladimir Putin, I was like, I need their picture on screen to show you who I'm talking about. And so it takes a lot more time to edit that specific show. So it's typically like maybe an hour to edit that one show per month. But overall, I would say on average, it takes, 20-30 minutes to write a script initially, 17 to 20 minutes to record an episode, and then again 20 minutes to 30 minutes to edit an entire episode. So a typical episode you see as taking like an hour and a half to make, maybe. For our news show once a month, again, that's taking more time, but that's a much more detailed and intricate editing process that I need a lot more information for to make that episode. So it takes an awful lot of time to make this show, and I really appreciate anyone who likes and comments on it that they like it. And really, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the behind the scenes of how it's all done. It's not easy to make this show as high quality as I want to make it, but again, I wanted this show to be something where not only am I showing off my skills as a videographer, but I'm really putting out a TV quality show out into the world for LGBTQ members to really find good information on, and to have a resource here. So if you have any questions for the show, please leave them in the comments down below. We do Q&As every so often. I respond to almost every comment. I try to, at least, on the channel, both on Facebook and on YouTube, so I try to get that as much as possible. The show comes out every week, and I'm going to try to do every single week from now on without interruption. Sometimes I miss a week because work gets so crazy, but because of the process being how it is right now, it typically takes like 1 day to record all of the episodes for a month and 1 day to edit all of the episodes for a month, so it's like a weekend of work, and I have all month completed for the show. So it's a whole lot less time than it used to be, at least, and that really helps me keep on this schedule of once a week coming out with something for you guys on a certain day at a certain time. Speaking of which, we just moved to 6 p.m. time frame because of football season being here in the United States. So because of that, I'm moving to 6 p.m. instead of 7, which most American football games start at 7 p.m. So I don't want to like try to compete with that, even though many LGBTQ members don't watch football. I conveniently work football, and I film all of those sports, so I don't want to have to like share an episode at the same time I'm supposed to be live on air. So I'm trying to move it to 6 p.m. now, and I hope you guys like it at 6 p.m. But typically an episode comes out and you guys see all the hard work that I did for the couple days and making it all possible. So this is, again, all done in Premiere. So I hope you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes look at how it is all done and how I make all of the episodes for the show. And if you like this video, please like. Oh, I can actually probably get to that. Hold on. Where's it at? Lost Dog Music. Oh. Weird. Thank you so much. And I mean, if nothing else, go for the show. But yeah, please like, subscribe to our network for plenty more great gay content to come in the future every single week here, and comment down below any topics you would like me to cover on the show, or comment below any thoughts or questions you have, and I will be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching, and see us next time here on PBR for plenty more great gay content to come every single week. I'm Matt Haslam, this has been PBR, and have a gay day, everyone. Bye for now from MHP TV. Bye, everyone.